Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty palms. Oh, hello everyone. It's the Marketing Accountability Council Friday meeting. I'm your host, Jake Sanders. I'm sitting here with Jay Mandel, Moni, Michael Munson, Jessica. Come on, let's go. Let's go
Let's
through the
go.
team. But what I wanted to do first is I wanted to reach out to the people that are here. Moni, Michael, Jess, Jay. I wanted to ask you a quick question. I just want you to talk to us. What was a win this week? Anything that you're struggling with, and what are you doing offline to chill? So let's go around the room. Let's start at the bottom. Jess, give
Hey.
us hi, Jess.
Hi.
Wait, should we feature her somehow, or is this
Yes,
is
we
this
can. I will do that. Let's see how we do that. So I think I can hit the button. Boom.
bam?
Wow.
Okay,
I've
so
never seen the full. I've never seen that full room before.
Jess, your spot is so dope.
Yeah. Interior design. So I can't see the questions anymore. I'll try to
No,
remember.
don't worry about it. I'll ask him live. Dan,
Okay.
welcome, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. So
Hey, Dan.
we're gonna go around and I'm asking questions. You're just gonna get surprised by him. Jess, what was a win this week for you?
Ooh, a win. Well, we made it to Friday, and that's great.
Such a win.
I actually got outside of my little cube and I interacted with other humans
Oh,
in LA, and I thought that was, an experience. It's always
yes.
good to collect data about what's going on out there. So
Yeah.
I guess data collection, that was a good win for me.
I love that. Okay, so what struggle? Is there a struggle or
Constant.
constantly? Okay, maybe just the name one of them.
Well, I think that just making sure that you don't take everything too seriously. I think that's a struggle. So
That's a good one.
yeah.
And so how are you chilling? What are you doing offline?
Ooh, I just what I do is I try to remember that I'm just a consciousness, just walking around this earth with a flesh body,
Yes.
anchoring me down with gravity. So
Hmm.
I think that what was the question?
I love that. Your weighted flesh body. I think you're just using that to move around on the earth. Is that what you're doing offline to chill?
Yeah, I'm reading too. A lot of alternate history. The Man in the High Castle.
Okay.
Years of rice and salt and whatever. It's like sci-fi backwards.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Okay, cool. So read some books, be with people, and then don't take things too seriously. Michael Munson, talk to us, man. What's a win? What are you struggling with? And what are you doing offline to chill?
Actually, there's lots of wins this week.
Okay, now don't win too hard in front of us.
I'm trying to think of the biggest one. Well, without getting specific,
Yes.
secured the commitment of someone who is very important to be involved with the project that I'm working on.
Excellent.
And so that was a pretty big win.
Huge.
What was the other questions?
With a struggle and chilling.
A struggle. Well, Jay kind of a little bit touched on it with his solo venture this week, talking about communications and everything. Just the idea of people not responding to inquiries for engagement, basically requests for engagement. Even when you write something that is really seemingly insightful and inspiring, it's like doesn't necessarily matter. It's just more about maybe who you know than what you know.
Or what you say. Yeah.
That's one struggle. And then chilling, staying in the air-conditioned house, really, because it was until yesterday was over 100-degree heat index
Yes,
every
that's
day
true.
for
That is
4 days.
happening. Right.
Chilling next to the air conditioner. How about that?
That's perfect. That's very literal. I love the way you did that. Bounce around, Moni. Talk to me. Wins, struggles, chilling.
I had a wonderful week. I had a lot of good wins, doing some good momentum. If anyone is following me on LinkedIn in particular, they're seeing kind of my brand evolution, which is fun to exercise through in public.
True.
No,
True.
it really is. It's good. I like it. So the feedback has been really, really great, and watching my brand character mom sort of evolve and get traction in public has been cool to watch. So that's a win. Struggle as part of this brand evolution I'm going through. I'm revamping a lot of stuff, practical pieces, content and website, and kind of redoing my storytelling. So kind of working through that exercise has been a little bit of a struggle. And what am I doing to chill? Jess and I had a great conversation. I am cracking out on Love Island. It's just terrible, wonderful, fantastic, atrocious. It's lovely.
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll follow you and see if there's any matchmaking that is worth talking. A hot take. Dan, talk to us. Wins, struggles. What's the offline life like? Oh, give me you're muted because it's all windy down where you are in Boca Raton or wherever. Some kind of Gulf.
Is this better?
This is better.
I tried this, but for some reason it doesn't connect.
No, it's 2025. Tech doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah. I got to get the AI type of things automatically. So the big win is I got a new dog. So now
Nice.
You didn't even tell me that. When did you get a new?
Yep, I got a new dog, and I had to kind of teach her how to walk because she was like completely all over the place. But the lesson was learned, so I think we're making progress there. So I think my wife is gonna let me keep her.
I love that.
It's the other way around, actually.
What's her name?
Lucy.
Lucy. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and she's a King Charles Spaniel, so she's really cute. The struggle is my allergies, and it's the problem with Miami. Well, not Boca Raton, but Hallandale Beach.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. It's a small town on the beach. The problem is it's a lovely town, but the problem with it is that there's always summer, so I always have my allergy, and that's what I'm struggling with.
Got to get it. Do you have a Nasonex? You need to talk to Antonio Banderas. He's a bee, and he has a thing anyway. What are you doing offline to chill?
Usually ride my bike, but it's not the good weather right now for the bike. It's super hot.
It's just like in anaphylactic shock on a bike. Not the same thing.
Especially in Miami, where everybody's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, the driving is insane out there. A lot of great personal injury lawyers. A lot of busy personal injury lawyers.
Yeah, I thought New Jersey was bad, but nothing compared to Miami.
No, it's not made for pedestrians. Okay, well, hopefully you find some time to chill. Jay, give us a win and a struggle and what you're doing to chill.
Oh, well, a win was I set this setup. I have a new setup.
Look at you.
I have a mic, and I went live yesterday on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time, and I hope we do a lot more of that. And I went through a mind map of where we are with the Mac and where we're going. And so that was a big victory. Pretty exciting because I'm articulating some stuff that we've been thinking about for a long time. Yeah. Struggle is, well, I mean, it actually turned out well. My dad had to. I thought he had a stent that he needed to be put in, but it turns out he didn't need it, and it turns out that, however, his system worked. The blood is flowing, so that's good. Mm-hmm. And what am I doing to chill? I have no one here. I don't have children here. My girlfriend is away, and I plan to enjoy myself, hang out by myself, listen to music, drink a few beers, and do whatever I want, which sounds really delightful.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. It's bachelor night
bachelor
over there.
By myself.
I know, I love that. Well, it's so great to hear from everybody. We just.
Well,
I
what
just
about
wanted
you,
to
Jake?
Oh,
Yeah. And also, Jay,
Oh.
is that a new camera? Are you sharper?
Yes, I'm sharper.
sharp.
It's
He's
not a
so-
new camera. It's a camera I've had. I just was always using my Mac,
Cleaned it off?
and I
Oh,
huh?
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always using my Mac, so now I'm using this, and I have this
Cool.
Yeti mic and all that.
Look
Pro.
at him
Pro
leveling
Tool.
up. So my win this week. Oh, hi. My win this week is overcoming my fear of being on camera. But my struggle is that I still don't want to be on camera. But what am I doing offline to chill? I'm just turning off the camera. No. I think a win is connecting with you on a bunch of really, really great ideas. We meet on Monday and we like really jam. And then I've just been really happy to know that I'm reading a lot about how companies perform really well and how humans perform really well. And it turns out that it isn't an individual or a company, but it's a team. And so companies are actually collections of teams. And so I was like, man, and then I just was thankful to realize that I have a team. And that's really cool. And I just wanted to reflect that and open this up to just let everybody know that I see you and I want you to have some space, and to hear about your families and your lives is just a big thing, because we can just keep it marketing, but I think we're going to go further if we know each other. Okay, so anything I'm struggling with, trying to focus, AI. Oh my God, it gets you so hot. It's like, oh, we can launch the sun. And you were like, oh my God, we're going to launch the sun. And then it was like, I just struggle with this thing, man. I great idea. Okay, how do you do it? Here's how you do it. It's a fake company. Give me a real example. Here's a real example. That's a simulated graph you gave me. You're right. Just go to Google and do it yourself. And I was like, you son of a. So anyway, struggling to just keep things accountable in the Marketing Accountability Council. Keep myself accountable. What am I doing? I'm reading the hell out of hard books. They're like movies, but they don't move. You should check it out. I want to go over the news because there's so much news, and we're just going to barrel through this news. Like Indiana Jones seems to keep coming against snakes, but he keeps overcoming the snake fear. Okay, on Indicator, there were two pieces that I wanted to share. Did you know that Google ads was being used by Israel to help its information offensive against Iran? And I was like, huh? So Israel's buying ad space to sort of justify what's happening in Iran. And I was like, I just don't know what that is. And then the next story is the Diddy AI slop is getting tens of millions of views on YouTube. Yeah. And you're like, what is that? So I just think if you wanted to think about that, ad platforms are now vectors of war propaganda, and it's official. You don't have to have a tinfoil hat on to believe this anymore. It's out. People are doing this on your advertising platforms, my advertising platforms. Ad platforms are also now vectors of slopaganda, officially. Now, what are you going to do about that? That's my ad platform. That's yours too. Are you just going to compete with the Diddy slop? What's your plan there? And beside the content, what it is, Israel targeting, that war is bad, and all this, who's making money? We should really ask yourself that question. We'll come back to it because it's related to the next news story from DeepSea.io. The homie Rocky is out here just sniping ad fraud wherever he sees it. And the latest threat is AI-powered slop sites, the rapidly rising threat to programmatic advertising. You thought they gave you this tool so you could make cool videos of Garfield hanging out with Mario and X-Men and all that stuff. They just wanted to create a 717% rise in slop sites. So these sites, which are just collections of whatever, probably Diddy slop, maybe some propaganda, who knows?
Diddy slop. Oh God.
But all of this is happening and it's insane. It's going up. And so now you're thinking publishers are at risk. Brands are at risks. All of these places, media is at risk, but no one's quite talking about this because we're arguing over certain things. But you don't have to argue about this because it's official. DSP, SSPs are now vectors of slopaganda. And a question, who's making the money here? Michael Munson,
Can I ask what the definition of a slop site is?
It's just like a conglomeration. It's like a made for advertising site. Do you know what that is? Did you know that there's advertising made for advertising websites?
Well, I mean, I know that if you go on a website like ESPN and they have those
Some ads
even-
there.
those titillating pictures and headlines that are trying to get people to click to something.
Yeah.
Would that be called a slop site?
No, that's like an official thing. These are like they're whipped up very quickly and taken down very quickly, but they just pop up for a little bit and they have just a collection of just insane stories, maybe targeted on certain things, but it's just a collection of generated ads, generated slop video that's just holding space, and then in that space they're running advertisements.
And how do people get to them?
Here's the question: no one ever does get to them. So I'll put a link to it because Rocky does a deep dive into this, and the reporter who helped make this story. But it's a good question. There are definitions, but you just compared ESPN to a slop site. So the fact that there is a little bit of a kind of drift on that means the fucking world.
Well,
okay,
I mean,
next-
with regards to the slop sites, I mean, a lot of the ESPN advertisement is the remnant advertisements for things like Outbrain and Taboola. I would imagine that those places would lead to slop sites, right? Those stupid ads.
No, maybe somebody would say that's a genuine place to make money. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you're arguing against people who are making money doing this. And so we don't have a great way to combat it because we don't have a great way to define it. So anyway, that's that story. But this blew my face off. India raided the advertising agencies, Group M, Publicis, and different broadcasters because they were working together on price collusion. And so Publicis, Omnicom, Dentsu, IPG, Havas, WPP, you're like, I think I know those names. They were just busted. And this is in March. You're like, oh, why do I? They uncovered a coordinated price fixing. They were talking on WhatsApp and they were colluding to have minimum commissions, prevent discounting, large media buys, keep those fixed media buys and let's do what we can. What? I didn't know this. But if you kind of just why does this matter? Because it's happening in India. Those are global firms and they're operating everywhere. I don't know if they're doing that here. Do you know? You don't know. And then this is funny. The GPT was like, there could be a precedent for enforcement. India's use of dawn raids could inspire the FTC or DOJ for antitrust actions. You got to laugh. But WPPP, I think they took off those 4 Ps. This is from 2021. They just paid $19 million in a bribery settlement where they were doing similar things in India. So you're like, I don't know, man. Who's paying attention? So I'm thinking the sloppening is happening. How do we respond? As global conflict rises, what role does the ad community play in propaganda? And giant holding companies are here to make money. I don't think they're here to make advertising. I relinquish the screen to you, fine people.
I'm still trying to understand the concept of the slop site. So is this legitimate advertisers and they're getting screwed with these slop sites, or these people who don't have, they're just scammers and then they end up on these sites?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Jessica, I have a question with regard to the slop sites. You sent that YouTube, the Instagram channel. Is what that guy is talking about slop, or what was it that you shared a few minutes ago?
Well, yeah, that is one of my favorite. I don't know if he's an artist or a critic of society, but I cannot like him enough. Brad Trommel. He is constantly mirroring back what is happening on my feed in a context that, or shaping it into a narrative to explain where it came from, which I love. So that ZERP slop report, he's always doing reports and they're so good. But basically, he's actually pulling from financial crises and like monetary policy to inform like why, you know, at least partially we are where we're at with slop. And it's a wild ride, and we have been riding it slowly, and then he speeds it up like we're Sims, you know, and does the whole it's a great container and containerization for what we're kind of faced with right now that's in this deck.
Yeah.
So basically it was the zero interest rate policies effect on, like, you know, there's money involved obviously, but it's really where we're at with feeling safe as a generation, like feeling it's lending itself, all of this monetary and government policy stuff, how slop has risen, I guess. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you could ask Moni, you know, what's the historical precedent for this? Like, you know, like, again, where has this come before? Is slop a new thing? And I think we're a little bit too nonchalant about this slop because we've been slopped at for so long. Would you think maybe there's something there?
I mean, modern, what was like movies, like 1910, 20s, I guess, the 1900s.
Like official movie? I mean, late 1800s, but like talkies coming in.
Like talkies, yeah, like talkies.
The 20s, 10s.
Yeah, that era. I feel like, you know, you have the initial, and then capitalism figures out how to take advantage of it. and off to the races we go. But I feel like there is the differences, and we've talked about this in the past, where it's like eventually we come in and there's some sort of governing body, some regulatory body, right? Like the movies have the grading system, PG-13 or something. Sure. We have the FCC, we have these regulatory bodies.
Sure, yeah.
We don't have that, and I don't know if that's coming.
Not now.
Yeah.
Why would it? You know, I mean, yeah, I think it's sort of an interesting question, you know, that I'm just connecting, is that WPPP is like colluding on fixed media buys. They're colluding to keep the prices there, but they'll do whatever they can to keep the creative going down. If I can spend no money on creating an ad, I think I'd like that, because that to buy a Super Bowl spot is $1 million, just hand done, no question. So I think that brought me up to, like, they're sort of like, they know where they know what they need to form a cartel against, which is the fixed media buy, not the creative class.
How am I getting taken to a slop site? Where's the?
Do you want to go? Let's go right now, Mike.
Let's go to a slop site.
Look it up. AI slop site. AI slop. Well, they're not going to tell us. How can I get there? I think you're underlining the point, Michael.
I mean,
these sites aren't made for people. They're made to just put robot placed ads that just, if a human sees it, if they don't, it doesn't even matter.
Oh, so is it like, if you look at like your advertising platform, like an ad roll or something like that, and you see that like weird URL, like what's, you know, www.ru.com, blah, blah, blah.
So wait, that could be something different.
So if I do an AI query,
there you go.
And the topic is tagged by one of these slop websites, the AI bot is going to go there, and that's going to count as a view for the ad that is being counted as a person, but it's not really a person doing it.
That's the thing.
Well,
I'm just looking at Sora.
Here it says,
is this slop?
Wait, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at Sora images, and just like these are just the top images on Sora that are just created. I would imagine that you can create slop like this. Like, what the hell is this?
I mean, if you click through to the article, do they show you an example of it? I don't think they do. This is a good question, man. I mean, you know, the ephemeral nature of these slop sites is key characteristic.
But the industry brought this upon itself, and it deserves exactly what it's getting.
You know what? And here, I thought something that was really making me sad.
Can we?
Oh,
Well,
What,
why don't we
Jess?
go to the
Dan's
slop site that they're writing about in this article?
Check out the private chat. There is a site arornot.com, and that actually allows you to check if it's a slop.
Oh yeah,
Site-
I'll share it.
Or like, but the article, Jake, that you shared.
yes.
Oh, I see the deep sea, but the one before it with the Diddy here. Here's the indicator
Oh, right. The indicator one.
article.
Yeah, bring that up.
Oh, I'm gonna stop sharing. Someone else take the lead and share.
Oh, but I'm unable to read the rest. I have to be a paid subscriber to Indicator.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
here, I'll
okay.
do
But
this. Okay,
in
here,
the
I'll do it.
first sentence, there's the link to the
Pack.
the
Go.
YouTube
Okay.
channel that we're.
I'll share it. Let me do that.
Oh,
One
so
second.
yeah, bring that up, and then this is a good example, Mike. It'll show you, and
At
thank you
least
for-
is referring like what this article is about.
Right.
Is about. We're getting somewhere.
So these are
Yeah.
not. This is not Curtis Jackson. This is not Diddy. These are all AI created versions, probably created using something like Sora, right?
I mean,
right.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
there's a lot of fake. You can tell they're fake YouTube channels that are all AI created, and they're just. I mean,
So,
Some of
and
these
so-
work. People fell for. I know someone who fell for like one of these fake stories and
Yes.
was like sharing it, and
Yes.
Well,
it
yeah,
was like, but,
everyone
like no
falls for
other
this, like
major
Aaron.
publication picked this up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no,
So-
I have a really funny story about this AI slop. I went on something that was like ESPN that I thought was ESPN. It had an ESPN logo, and it literally said that Aaron Judge has ended his baseball season because he got smashed in his, balls. And I'm like, oh my God. And I told my son, I'm like, did you hear what happened to Aaron Judge?
That's all they
I'm
need.
like, I looked it up. There's no record of this happening, but you go on TikTok and it has like thousands and thousands and thousands of views. And then you click on it and it's not really ESPN.
It's so I think that maybe if we go back, Tom Petty, is he dead? Oh no, he might. Do you think? No, he might. I think he dead. Oh, I don't know. Paul, what's the actor? The dude who died of the heroin overdose. Paul Thomas. What's his name? What's the dude who was in Twister? People. Philip Seymour Hoffman. When he died, it was like, oh, is he dead? Oh, is it? I don't know. Michael Jackson. Was he dead? Oh. And I think like all of those little things, those false starts, it's like for decades, somebody was walking around with a starting pistol and they were like, pew, 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 and you're like, shit, I don't know if it's a race or I don't know what's going on. Like, and then now we just don't even think about that anymore because I think we're so beyond the pale of believability and everyone's like, pretty soon it'll be that nobody will believe what the, guess what? And I think Michael's saying something very interesting. The reason why they can't believe you is because you've been speaking business speak for the past 50 years, saying the word freedom when you don't mean it, saying the word believe in your core values when you know that's not what you value, and like all of that hollow talk that we've been using is coming back to haunt us. And so it's like the skeletons in this closet are wearing our clothes. And I think that and slop, you're worried about authentic stuff. Authentic advertising and marketing. You just sit with that for a minute because you're like, I really want authentic advertising.
Is it true?
And you're
that,
like, nah, hold on. I'm just saying, I'll let you go, Jay, but
yeah,
that's a sad thing. And if you think that what we're doing is helping, maybe we need to question it. And we might be adding to the slop, with every email, with every exchange. Like the slop could be you.
Well, the slop is the slop partially related to hallucinations? I mean,
The
because
slop is based on data that was filled out by years of salespeople who had to fill a quota, who were incentivized to fill up a whole bunch of form fills, and now all the emails don't go anywhere because salespeople had to hit a goal. And
who's the guy?
20
The
years,
ChatGPT had what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. The guy who's in charge of ChatGPT.
the Pope.
The Pope, yeah. So the Pope, whatever that guy is, that
My Dennis
Sam
Rodman.
Altman.
Fuck.
Altman.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Altman. So this guy, he said in a meeting or something that he's shocked that people believe the hallucinations that come from ChatGPT. Why would they not believe the hallucinations? You ask it a very specific question, it comes back with an answer, and the answer is totally untrue, but it says it with authority.
It's
right?
a slop answer.
It's a slop answer. That a hallucination is a slop answer, don't you think? Like,
It can
so
be.
like even with Dan's
Well-
article, for example, Dan wrote an article this week, and I went in and I created this really cool infographic. And we used 3 of the 5 things that came out of Gemini for that infographic, because 2 of them made up these bar charts that resembled no truth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it does always. I think I had a conversation earlier. There's always a splinter of something in there, but it's mostly just sort of like hay. So it's like the new hay needle stack thing.
It's
you
not
know?
a splinter. It's 20 to 30%
Of a splinter.
of hallucination. This 20 to 30% chance that it's going to hallucinate.
Oh yeah.
That's what they they admit to it. They say, look, if you're going to use it, just be only 70% sure, because 20 to 30% is going to be completely out of.
Well, that is totally effed
That
up.
math is all
don't
weird.
You think? Because if you don't proofread your stuff, that's your name that's behind it.
Yeah.
And some of the hallucinations are they feel so right. Like I was doing something and I said, let's get some real sources for this. And then they said, according to the Max study of 2023. And I'm like, we haven't done a study. So wait, like, how did you make that up?
Well,
You
that
know?
says you're right.
Sounds really good.
But
It sounds great, but it's not true.
the comeback is
see,
you just
the
okay, go ahead.
algorithm. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
So the algorithm, the way it works, right? It's really good at guessing the next word in the sequence, but the gaps it fills in with the best thing they can actually come up with, sort of like out of nowhere. So therefore, when it hits the point where there's no next word in the sequence, it adds its own sort of content. So
Yeah, I hear you. But I just think it's 100% in on this.
What
70%.
What happens when someone has a client who has had them do some online ad campaign, and they read that article, and they're like, "Okay, you told me that I had X number of engagements online, and I just read this article, and it says 30 or 40% of what I got could have been nothing. Could have been figments of someone's imagination."
They don't
what
do that,
do?
Michael. I'll tell you exactly what happens. Like, from a person that worked at a big company, what is your incentive as a person who's running an ad that is compensated based on these arbitrary false metrics to do all the hard work to figure out that you should get 30% less views? There is no incentive, and there's not as much there's not that much curiosity either to do that. So if Michael, you and I had some big conversations. We don't need to get into all the details about like how it was like working in corporate America and what were the incentives and all that kind of stuff. There is no incentive to figure out the truth when your dashboard is about, was your campaign last year at this percent and your campaign this year is at this percent, and there's no way to connect that with revenue. Speaking to Moni, to your article, when I first read your headline, I actually misread it 2 times because the reality is that a lot of people, that's why it was such a clever headline, believe that the goal of marketing is revenue.
You're correct.
And the goal of marketing, according to what we talk about in the MAC, is based on all these metrics that will be inflated by 30% because of slop.
And this disregarding the bots that are already here.
Yeah, that's.
I was going to say more. I think 30% is like such a generous number. It's crazy.
It's
Like,
very
it's
nice.
way
That's a
worse than
nice
that.
number.
And you got this, what was it? I don't remember the exact year. that was cited in the in that presentation this week, the 3.5% engagement down to 0.6.
Yes, yeah. So I'm working on a deck which I'll show all of you on Monday. And yeah, if you you know, in the back in the MasterCard days, you could get real engagement, organic engagement on Facebook. You can get organic engagement on LinkedIn 10 years ago. Now, yeah, it's like 0.6 or 0.06 or something ridiculous like that. That's the kind of engagement you're going to get if you don't pay. Everyone is offered the boost, including all of us. Why would I, as an individual, boost something? What is that going to do for me except make me feel good that a bunch of fake bots looked at my stuff?
Oh my God. Okay, wait, 2 parts. Mike, there's something in to Moni's part. There's the FCC. You know, there's like regulations in TV and radio. If you don't get the impressions that you were told or the ratings that you were told you were going to hit, they have a make good. Yeah, right. So there ain't no make goods on digital. There ain't no make goods in line. So I'm sorry, because all those things are arbitrary. So you traded some TV arbitrary metrics for some new ones that they could game and keep you in the casino smoking butts. Or don't. You can have a Mai Tai. But oh my God, the last part.
Jake, I have a thing that to put you on the spot. Like you don't need to get into too much detail, but you've been thinking a little bit about some other ways to measure. You want to talk about that as a group? Like not in too much detail.
Well, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where you have a good idea. I've had too many conversations with creative people who are so beautiful, wonderful, heartfelt people, and they don't understand why they're being spreadsheeted. Why the managers don't understand. Like my sister, she runs a salon. It's been bought out by a management company. They said they were going to be hands off, but now they're up in her book saying, I don't understand. What's this? What's this? They don't understand your business. They can only see it through their spreadsheet. So and that's for everybody. Whoever uses a spreadsheet, I can only use the spreadsheet to understand what you're doing. There's no way I can understand the nuance, that beautiful ambiguity that you bring to the table, that creative. Well, then if you don't put a value on that and you can't show on the spreadsheet where somebody is, where you hurt them, or where they're horny, then they're not going to see you. They're not even going to listen to you. You don't even exist. So what you have to do is come with your own spreadsheets. And you have to say, you're going to put a value on me if I don't put a value on myself. So how do you value yourself? You have to then understand what the metrics are. And if you look at their KPIs, which we just went over, if you're looking at digital ad impressions, well, that's bullshit. ROI, that was not for this thing. ROAS, also bullshit. Pipeline velocity ROI, fucking bullshit. All of this nonsense. Like you made it up. Well, we can make up some new stuff, but we can gird it in quantitative reality. So what I wanted to talk to was about how can I measure the fame of a brand? You know, is there some way you can measure the culture velocity index? So
is that
like
the Net Promoter Score, Jake? Or
just
no?
No, it isn't Net Promoter Score. It's maybe just more of a listening towards what's happening. And if you see more people are using your terminology or visiting things, then you can align that to something called something I made up, which is called the trust coefficient or whatever, because they're holding you to KPIs that are bullshit and they know it. And they're wondering why you can't hit the numbers because I didn't pay you a budget.
Isn't there a MAC trust score?
It's similar to this, but I wanted to sort of build out for creatives on a way that they can express themselves quantitatively, because you cannot keep saying your qualities are the things that matter to the spreadsheet people, because the spreadsheet people only see spreadsheets. So if you don't come with a spreadsheet, they don't see you. And I'm not saying I think it's great that we strip away all the wonderful messiness of humanity to be machine legible. But I do think if you can't express it in a language that they understand, you're not saying anything. You can use money and say, I'm going to give you money and you're going to get money back if you do this money thing. But even then you're like, I can't quite guarantee that, because marketing is a low effect thing. Advertising is a low effect thing. I'm only going to statistically raise the likeliness that you're going to get bought. I'm not going to 10x shit. Like if we said that, we would be honest, but we'd also be poor. So what I'm trying to work on is quantitative measurements of qualitative aspects. And it's kind of hairy and it's messy, but I'm getting into the weeds, and I'm going to talk to real statisticians and data people to say, like, is this real? Can this check out? Because I'm telling you, they're making it up on that side, and we play their game. Well, play my game.
Well, you know that like the generations, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen this, Gen that, it's all invented by a person.
Did
you
it?
know?
It's
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the name of the person, but like someone makes that proclamation.
Oh,
that
you're talking about demographics. Oh, which is also
no, I'm
ton
not.
of
What I'm
bullshit.
saying is that
No, like the label of the generation,
the
like
label
of the
Gen X,
generation
Gen Y,
was-
just
yeah, which
naming
is-
that is
which
made
is
was
up.
articulated
Right.
by someone and then it stuck. So
Mm.
what reason do I have to believe that your idea can't stick, or any of
That's
these
it.
ideas that we come up with? Like we have, as a marketing accountability council, we have the graveyard, we have the delusions, we have the heuristics, and we have a few other things. Like all of these things seem to make a hell of a lot of sense for a new paradigm of marketing. We just need to figure out how these things will stick. The other thing I was thinking about is like, I'd love to have. I watched a CNN piece the other night where they have this one guy that's like super Republican, and he gets on and he talks with all the Democrats, and he basically he really out-talked all the Democrats, and they didn't know what to say. I wonder if we brought on someone on one of these calls that fully bought into the whole establishment, would we be able to out-talk them and sort of convince them that our way is the right way? You know how you have that those GPTs where it's like that, the two things could be two different points of view. Is it possible that we're wrong and they're right?
I mean, they're Justice. I'm looking at your face.
I'm looking at Jess too. You're like,
Because there is no truth. There's perspective and circumstance. So our perspective and our circumstance of how we deal with corporate America makes us say this is bullshit. There's somebody in corporate America who's like, this works for me. Like I'm crushing it, freaking measuring pipeline velocity and getting all of the fucking ROI.
killing it.
And they're earning
killing
lots
that
of
shit.
money, and their teams are happy and all that, right?
So
Yep,
Okay.
you're so right. Yeah, that context is MFer is what I've referred to it as, because when things are going down, you're going to be like, oh, we need to generate some demand, and you're like, you should have been here 6 months ago.
Well,
should have
generate
been-
some demand is always it's arbitrary. It's like let's spend more money on advertising and not get to the root cause. That's my big downfall. Like I always want to get to the root cause, and never did I ever have an experience in corporate America that allowed me in my role to get beyond the little, like Jay's in charge of social media, or Jay's in charge of this, but it didn't start at social media. It might have started at product, or it might have started at price, or it might have started at the sponsorship that I was handed, right?
But I mean, that's what I was gonna say. It's just like it technically can work, right? When you have a very strong brand and a decent budget and good creative, and right, like the foundational mechanisms of marketing are all in place and work. And I would say, to that person who's like, I'm fucking crushing it building content, my lead funnel, and all this other shit. It's like,
And your-
I bet
and your
you all those
product-
things are in place.
Right.
And your product is the antidote for friction, and it
Exactly.
creates unlimited energy, and it creates infinite wisdom, and like whatever.
And also, Michael, the economy is stable. The local people, whatever, like no interest rates are fluctuating. Banks are friendly to you. Like there's a lot of
Well, that's when all the
assumptions.
salespeople that I ever know or have known do well. Like, what salesperson right now is selling a content management system to a big enterprise, or selling a Salesforce.com, implementation right now? Like, what company is investing it? The salespeople, like, just like a performer, or let's say you own a bar in Barbados, my girlfriend's brother owns 2 bars in Barbados. He makes all of his money in half of the year. And then the rest of the year, he makes nothing or very little. And I think that salespeople, who are the salespeople that are crushing it right now, selling software?
Damn.
Right?
I bet they'd raise their hands if they could see us. No, I, AI agents for SDRs. That's happening. People like people are going in there with much more alacrity into the sales function. That seems to be the first place.
It's that company. What is it called? Planter, the one that is selling all of Palantir. Yeah, they're doing well because they're selling all this detection stuff to detect immigrants and
to the military.
Back.
I mean, and I didn't put any of the military stuff like advertising, like tech people becoming lieutenant colonels in the U.S. Army. I didn't put that because that's just crazy. But
Jake,
I
can I ask to get back to your creative assessment
please.
thing?
Yes.
We always see ads, and we see if you click on the link to the ad, it just goes to the website of whoever the company is, their brand is that is putting that ad out there. No one ever asks you, what do you think of this ad? And what did it mean to you? You get the, like on YouTube, you'll get the, have you heard of this brand before? Or you've seen, is this ad relevant to you? What the hell does relevant mean?
Oh,
If you want to get some insight into what that creative value is in terms of how valuable it is, you've got to ask some other questions, right? About what is you're trying to get to here. Like, do you think it's clever? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's really creative? Have you seen anything like this before? Does it make you think something differently than you thought before you saw it? Like that kind of stuff.
And I think go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, they run the focus groups. I've seen it at Ogilvy many times.
Oh, really?
They'll have like a representative sort of like cross section of audience, and they'll talk to them. But again, they'll say that this cross section of audience actually represents the rest of it. But then you have to go by the DMI because different people in different locales are so different. So it's not that easy. But I know Nielsen does it as well. There is some of it, but it's not super reliable.
Right. Yeah. And then I would think that if somebody asks me a question about a specific thing, well, now all of a sudden I'm thinking about that specific thing very specifically. And if they want to get some general information from me, why the hell did you be so specific with that damn question? And you put me in a focus group for advertising? Oh my God. Now I'm fucking advertising wizard doctor 10,000. And I'm like, this ad actually felt me feel, when in fact, if you really ask them what, did you like the colors? Did you like we used Peyton Manning, but we could have used, and they were like, I was actually experiencing something on the other ass side of the world from this ad. And that pain brought me to this moment where your thing made sense to me. And it didn't quite care what the creative package was. It's the fact that I got clarity of the message through this thing. And I'm here because of something that's in my life. And you're like, so I talked to a really amazing legal marketer, Mike Whalen, who he said he did an A/B test. And so he had a conference with all of the lawyers who could possibly buy this legal tech thing. So it's a conference. They're tech focused lawyers. Like, this is the place to sell. You're never going to find a tighter group of people who are so excited for your thing. And then a B test on Spotify, huge audience, not really much targeting going on. Same message in both places. Which one do you think did better? Which one do you think would do better?
The
targeted one.
Percentage of audience that responded.
You go into that conference because those people know you. They're in the industry. Boom. The Spotify ad was the one that knocked it out of the park.
Why? Because
the fact that you think you have an isolated group of people that are going to respond to your message means that you think their contextual reality matches the message and the connection. That might not be true. And it actually might be less likely because you have a small percentage of people who are very highly targeted in this small little area, whereas you have a giant group of people, and where in which there are streams of people who have contextual realities that match with that message, and it hits them exactly at the right time, at the right moment, in the right way. Over here, I targeted everybody in the right moment, in the right way, with the right thing. Actually, what you need to do is go broad, because you don't know what people's right moment is. You don't know who the right person is, and you don't know what the right thing is. So it's actually a huge shift that you need to make in your mind, is that you think you can target people. You can. You can't target contextual realities and pain points that are existing behind them.
That's one of Moni's heuristics.
That's
right?
why I'm bringing it back up, because it's like, if you can't
Only-
connect or understand
What is
that,
it? Only 20% of your audience is ready to buy in the moment.
It's like 5. Yeah.
it's like
5%.
5. It's
Right.
not,
Okay.
and it could be even smaller than that.
Mhm.
You know, so
Right.
and
So that's
but then
what also
again,
my point is, like, then the goal can't be revenue. It's impossible, right? It's like that's a ridiculous perspective to look at marketing through. It's not its job. It's not what we're here to do. Like, just get that off the table.
I think, but somebody would say it's maybe maintenance of revenue. Maybe not like a lot of marketing and advertising holds people's position. You know,
My what I say is, the business makes money, not departments. It's everybody's job to make fucking revenue. So we don't look at it in department pieces. Let the department do its job. If every department does its job, the business will make money. Okay. Just have
and then
people do that.
and then it comes down to the way you treat your teams. It comes down to the way you treat your people, and it comes down to the way you talk to them about what's going to change, what's going on. So I think I think this is a good place for us to park the car and say, Friday, you lovely F word. We love you. What are people going to do this weekend? Just give me a really quick summarization. What do you have looking forward to? Go, shout it out.
I think tomorrow is the first day of the farmers market that will have freshly picked blueberries.
Let's
Ooh,
go.
yeah.
Blueberries.
Nice.
Don't forget the blueberries. Moni, what are you going to do?
I am on the board of the American Market Association of Baltimore. We're going to have a strategic planning event, and then I'm going to go do some. There's a food
fancy.
truck festival in
Nice.
Springfield, Virginia, that I'm going to go to. So check that out.
Okay. So just the food trucks or the food in the trucks.
Mhm.
There's okay. All right. Not just like that's a dope food truck. Are they doing
No, it's
that?
going to be a bunch
Racing?
of them. It's a whole festival of food trucks.
I would absolutely watch a show where people race and cook in a food truck.
They have that. What do you mean?
Well,
What?
Great
that's a-
food truck race on Food Network. Where have you been?
Damn you, advertising. You got to my great ideas. It's like 10 years late. Whatever, Moni. I'm gonna like think that I came up with that. Like, man, why don't I
Okay.
do that? And
I'll
I'm
let you have it. Not bad.
gonna
Doesn't
go into
exist.
the weekend mad. Jay, what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna just
You're chilling. You're
chill.
bachelor
Yeah,
mode.
like
You're
I'm
watch
gonna
Predator.
I'm gonna leave the apartment after this meeting, and I will
Very exciting.
buy some beer, and maybe I'll get some good old Yonkers Mexican food. I love. Maybe I'll get that mole that I like. I love
Grab
a
that
good
mole.
mole.
Grab that
Yeah, I
mole.
Get some mole, but literally have nothing. Nothing is pulling at me. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling right now.
That is-
Dude, enjoy that.
jealous.
Okay. Jess, Dan, give us something.
I have no idea. I haven't decided yet.
You're gonna either keep the dog or get rid of it.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna keep the dog. Yeah.
We
Show
hope that
the
Lucy
dog.
stays.
Show
Keep
the dog.
Picture
Show
it
the
didn't
I
happen.
have 2 of them. So.
Show it later.
right.
So I just opened like 50 tabs about how much you can make on a slop account, or like how Like who's making it? How do you decide? And it's so like I forgot that I'm just a consciousness on a brain on like a stem.
Yes.
100%. So I will put something in the chat, but I just it's very interesting, you know, how you pick your niche for that, how you like it's just marginal profit. Like if money's on the table, somebody's going to try to pick it up, right? And I think that's
Are you making
it's keyword farming. It's like how, you know, that's what I'm gathering. So I've just kind of been mentally there
preparing to make our slop account? You should partner with Dan. Dan would be very good at
No
making a
slops.
slop account. Yeah, the
No
Max slop
slops.
account for market research.
The
what
thing
if
that they do though is that they're churning out more content than the New York Times has ever made, or in 20 years. In 6 months, they're making that much content because by basically mosaicing together keywords into titles for articles, and that's for YouTube. But TikTok's a whole different strategy.
Oh my God.
So can you do some research and write an article on this one? I think this might be your
this
thing.
is so massive.
No.
Okay,
I
hand
can share with you guys, but I have an
hand it
idea.
over.
I would like to talk about it later or something.
Give me those
feel like-
links. Give me those links because I would love to work on that and learn more about that.
Yeah,
I'll
I want to see
guarantee that like Google and TikTok and Meta and all these companies are going to come up with ways to thwart these things because the advertisers are going to be like, we're not going to pay you.
But it's
If
not even
we're gonna take-
necessarily about advertisers. It's just about like
Nothing.
when people. It's
It's
like
money. That's what I was thinking.
it's
yeah.
a conscious. It's like how much of your attention can I grab from
Yeah.
advertising?
And
right?
attention harvesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so because like I'll be on I'll be on my thumbs working. The
Look at
thumbs
that.
of the future are going to be so strong.
So strong.
larger, right? Like, so I will suddenly see like a police body cam footage of somebody like in Target about to get arrested because they've watched them for months and they're finally like, you've stolen enough stuff, and then they take them back into interrogation room, and it's like, then as soon as it gets good, the video stops and there's no other video, and then you have to go to the next like story. You're never getting a full story.
Oh
There's,
yeah,
like,
that happens to me all the time. Yeah, I see that. That's bad.
So,
but like, who is doing that anyway?
So
okay, all right.
so this research will go in tandem with some research that we're doing about paid influencers on the AI slopification. I have a piece coming out that kind of explains the monetization schemes behind all this from actual people and fake people.
I gotta jump, guys. Lovely.
Moni,
Okay,
peace out.
It speaks to the idea, and I'm sorry for doing this right now.
No.
But also, like a few months ago, we were talking about this product that would give views or something to your ads, but then it was like farming the views. So it was
Mhm.
they weren't even real views. Remember
Mhm.
that?
Yes.
I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was. Oh yeah, link in bio, guys. This is great.
Visit, smash
Yeah.
the like button.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
Keep going. Yeah.
I also think that like when I'm in these videos, I can't really see anybody when the like screen's up. I know that Moni said
Mhm.
that we could edit that, but anyway.
Yeah, I actually wrote them and they wrote me back. So I will send the reply to all of you about how to optimize. Yeah.
In terms of research, though, it's if we wanted to really figure out who these people are and what they're getting out of it, really, I think the first place is, Reddit has these threads of people that are like, I did this, I can help you, because that's where this like kind of skeezy people are farming people who want to make a quick buck, right? And so and in the link I posted, it kind of shows this cycle, this infographic of what it might look like to create a content farm. And basically it's generating.
Wow, I love it. Yeah.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
This is the ACC.
This is psycho.
It's a community college. So it's like basically what they're doing is they're doing the least amount of work, outsourcing each piece of it, just like instead of building something in-house, like a physical product, they just kind of do a little bit of research of what's selling now, right? And then finding the cheapest way to source like, the fabric and the trimmings and whatever, and then have somebody put it together. Everything's like, none of it's actually connected, so no one's really responsible for anything, right? And
there's
then
no business that it's connected to. It's just like ghosts.
yeah, I just don't think there's any, like, no one's liable for anything because every single piece of it is like independent. And then ultimately the product is something that you accidentally click on when you're searching for real information, and by the time you figure out it's not anything, you've already like given them a cha-ching, I think, right?
Oh, yes, that's it.
I
And
think
so
that's
it just seems so haunted. And it just seems like if you're in these marketing conferences, you're only hearing about the best, the good thing, the good stuff, the 10X, the scale. And you're not hearing about any of this shit.
Well, it's interesting. The article that you did post that we can't read because we don't pay for it is talking about this one site that is focused on Diddy, right? And it has 35-minute, because people can't be alone with their thoughts. So like they're doing work and suddenly they've realized they've watched 15 YouTube videos that are 30 minutes
That
on,
happens.
2 times speed.
That has happened.
That may or may not have any like foundation in reality, right? And I it makes me freaked out, but it also is like, how do you determine if you're a slop creator that you're just going to focus on Diddy, or you're just going to focus on police body? It doesn't matter, I guess. It's just
Diddy,
like anything.
Diddy is the gift that keeps on giving. Everyone loves some good Diddy content.
Well,
I mean,
for a while it was Karen Reed for me.
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
I mean, yeah, that trial's over. She's innocent.
I'm like opening the tab. And
Johnny Depp, that trial, the Depp Heard thing, we almost lost our freaking minds. Like that was so shoved into our faces. Like
no, I personally love watching the body cam stuff. I could spend hours watching that. I sent Dan a really good one about some
it's our trauma. It's like
Polish woman getting arrested in my hometown. It was great content.
It's cops 24/7, and it's actually
But it's real
25/8.
It's different from the edited cops that we watch. Bad
Oh
boys.
no, it's super
boys.
visceral. No, I know. It's very visceral. But that's
every time I put it on.
I think let's end the plane, land it.
No,
we're not
okay.
gonna here's the thing. I think the main takeaway from this is, are you making slop? And not with AI, just in your words, in your deeds, in the way you talk to people, in the way you exchange things. Slop isn't this problem that is. It's something that we created because we were disingenuous with the words we use, with the terms we're using, with the expectations we have, and the feelings that we're exchanging. So please exchange fucking real feelings. I loved that.
I like the circles, Jay.
Yeah, you like this? I'm playing around with just so we know we can mess around with this. We should decide what we're going to do with this
for a couple more minutes, but if anybody has to go, that's okay. Or if everybody has to go, that's fine too. And we could stop recording. But I just want to
circles.
Circles. Okay, let's go to circles. Talk.
The kind of like how this ties back to, I guess it ties back to marketing because it's all about ad dollars or like some sort of like KPI or money. I guess that's what it is,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. And the way that people are getting